Zoom says I'm live. YouTube hasn't loaded up yet, so I don't know. But all right, YouTube is loaded up, and as soon as I see my face, I'll know I'm live. And as soon as someone pops into the chat, I will know that you can hear me, because that has been an issue, hearing me. All right. I can see myself on YouTube, and Gary can hear me. Awesome. We're doing good. Tony, who I believe's real name is Steve. I'm glad you're here. I think you're part of the program tonight. I got a few things that I want to talk about. I took some lists. I say this all the time. I say I have so much to talk about, and then 5 minutes in, I'm like, all right, what am I going to talk about for 25 minutes? But I think tonight we have a ton to talk about. And if I can find my list here, I won't forget it all. I'll bring the chat back up. So I want to talk about tonight's show, because tonight's show was 2 weeks ago tonight. That's how fresh this thing is. It's never before seen unless you watched somebody's Facebook stream or some awful stream through somebody's phone. This is the first time anybody's seen it besides the people that were there that night, 2 weeks ago today. I can't believe that this show was just 2 weeks ago. And it's fantastic. The video is fantastic. It's good to see you, Jimmy, AKA Matt. Glad you can make it. I hope you didn't close the restaurant or miss out on a good shift, or have to pay somebody too much to watch a Bruce Springsteen concert on my channel. I can always send you a copy. But this is a fantastic show, and well worth seeing. And it greatly looks pro shot in most spots, because what we're going to get to, we're going to talk all about this show in a second. But at the top, I really want to talk about the shows from this last week. The last time we talked, I didn't do a pre-show last Saturday. Last Saturday, I was supposed to be in Portland, and I was not in Portland. And I was here with you guys watching an old, I think, reunion tour show, and or maybe 2007. I don't know. They all run together. But I did not make it to Portland. I was not feeling well. I had tons of issues, and we'll talk a little bit about Portland in a few minutes. But just like the night before Portland, or 2 nights before, we showed Hollywood. I did a pre-show then, and I had tons of, I didn't even know, technical problems, that I was freezing up, and it was not only in the YouTube broadcast, but it was in my Zoom recording, and no salvaging it. And but the last time we talked, I think that we talked about the set list up through Austin, or maybe not Austin, but I'm not prepared to talk about Austin today. But real quick, at the top of the show, because people who watch this later on, they only watch a few minutes, and I want to go over the set list from this tour real quick. They don't take a lot of time, because it doesn't change that much. So what we're looking at here is the show I missed. The Portland show is this one I was supposed to go to, under a 2-hour flight, and a $3 train from there's a train station at the airport and a train station at the arena. This was the easiest trip, and I had my best seat, and it was my most expensive seat. And my mind is blown that I didn't go. I ended up selling that ticket for half what I forget the fees. The fees were gone, but I got half of the ticket price back on the day of the show, and I felt thrilled to get half back, because that was a $500 ticket. I got $250 on the day of the show. So the big thing in Portland, I guess, was I'm on Fire and Burn and Train back in the set. And I was at the show before Portland, and Burn and Train wasn't back yet, but we got Priest. And I saw Priest in Houston, and I saw it in Tulsa. Priest was dropped and Burning Train put back in. I wouldn't mind seeing a show with both Priest and Burning Train, but from the looks of it, this is you know, they're all mostly the same set list, but the big shift here is you got Burning Train back. They hadn't played that since like I think the first two shows, and I'm on Fire tour premiere. So if we go to, I should bring up the chat. Can you guys see the set list? Can you guys see my screen? This is Seattle. Seattle was Monday, and 2 tour premieres, Trapped and Land of Hope and Dreams. Burning Train stays in the set. It looks like Night Shift is now the only soul song that's staying in the show, and it was gone for 2 shows because Curtis King was absent with COVID, and this is one of the shows. So no soul songs at all, and our friend Thomas will be thrilled with the no soul song shows. I think they don't take a long time, especially when it was just the one. And it's a nice showcase. And I know my mother will miss them if I take her to the Detroit show and he doesn't do. She liked the other one more. The You Lied. Don't play that song. So Burning Train still in the set, but Priest still gone. Trapped in Land of Hope and Dreams, the big tour debuts in Seattle. And then the next show, which was day before yesterday, Thursday night in Denver. I almost went to this show. I didn't have airfare and ticket like Portland, but it was on my list, and we almost pulled the trigger, me and my sister, to meet there. I'm so glad we didn't, because I was still sick 2 days ago. I'm feeling a lot better today, but I still have a cough, and I've seen this show 4 times, and I love the show. I've also made a few videos, and I know the show very well. And I think I'm a little tired of getting on planes right now until maybe he mixes it up. And there's really no mix it up at all. Burning Train stays in the set. I think that's good. And no surprises at all in Denver, Colorado, which Portland and Denver. I went to all the red states. I went to Florida and Texas, and no weed. And he played 3 in Florida, and he played 3 in Texas. And then I bailed and I went to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then I bailed on Portland, where there's weed aplenty, and I didn't go to Denver, where there's weed aplenty. I'm supposed to go to Detroit, and I had my plane ticket for Detroit, and my family lives there, so odds are good I'm going to make it to Detroit. And there's weed aplenty there. That'll be my first weed show, although my friend Jacob did bring me weed in Houston, and that was awesome. It was good weed too. Thanks, Jacob, if you're out there or if you're catching this. So those are the set lists. I wanted to go over them real quick. No surprises in Denver, and doesn't mean that they're not good shows. This show is fucking phenomenal, by the way. For the people who think that he's got to change it up, the show is not meant for the crazies that get on airplanes and go to 8 shows and go to Europe. And it's not. He's got enough people to sell tickets to in every market except Tulsa. And he wants to bring this show to every market, much like Tunnel of Love Tour, which didn't change that much. That was a long time ago. And he's kind of changed his MO over the years to mix it up a little bit, but he's never been in a jam band who plays a different set list every night. He's always had a set rehearsed show, and we'll see if he opens it up. I don't know that he will. I know I get a feeling they like the tight time, 2 hours, 45 minutes. They like that he's not doing 3.5 hours, and I don't think that he's going to stretch even in the stadiums. We'll see. I don't like to make predictions. So we have 21 minutes. And so one of the things I wanted to talk about real quick, I'm working on Dallas, which is going to be an interesting video because most of it, there was like 4 or 5 different people shooting a lot of video that night. And they were all behind the stage, all of them. And very little did they point their camera at the screen. When they do, we get some really great video, but very, very rarely did they point their camera at the screen. It's a lot of behind the stage. I'm not 100% certain I'm going to show that one. I have to take a look at it. It could get a little boring. It's a lot of back to the heads, but I think I did a great job with it. I think I want to show it. Most of my audience, as long as the sound is good, they're good. They're good with it, and I think I might show Dallas. We'll see. It's almost done. And then Houston is coming. And I had just got a whole bunch of new footage for Houston to look at. So I don't even know what to tell you about Houston. We're talking about Kansas City in a second. But I finally, I've been back. My trip's been over for a while, and I haven't really talked that much about it. I was tired, and I had pictures, and I wanted to show a few things. First off, as you can see, this is Tampa Bay History Center. And that, I'd love to say that's Bruce Springsteen in that vehicle driving into the show, but I don't know that. I do know that he was in one of the 4 vehicles that all pulled in, and that somebody's in there. Stevie's in there, Nils is in there, somebody's in there. Four Suburbans or whatever that vehicle is, all that looked exactly the same, all pulled in. That right there, that's a Bruce security guy, and they pulled in, and this is the entryway into the Tampa Bay Arena. I was right there when they got there. Didn't roll down the window, didn't wave. That was just the best picture I got of one of the cars. Can't really say that that's actually Bruce, but let me see. I have a few pictures. This guy right here, this guy right here, his name is Dom. Shout out to Dom. And in Tampa, he came up to me and said, I watch your channel. I love your channel. And he was the first person to do that. And it happened a few more times. And I had a blast every time that happened. And Dom was the first. And I had a feeling going in that could happen, but then you forget about it and you're out in the real world, and then a complete stranger recognizes you. And that was the first time in my life that ever happened. So Dom, shout out to you. And then I ran into this guy, and now his name is gonna escape me. Ken Rosen. He's if you follow Springsteen social media, he's been running a blog that tells you this day in Springsteen history. He's been doing it for a few years now. And if you follow his Facebook or his Twitter or his Instagram or any of the other social medias, because I only follow Twitter and Facebook, but he's got a daily post from his blog with what happened today in Springsteen history. And I saw him, and I wanted to get a picture so that February 1st, 2024, I can post this day in Ken Rosen history. He met the Phisherman. And then this is also Tampa, and that is Jared Clemens. That's Clarence's son. And I believe his girlfriend's name is Rachel. She's big on social media too. They were just walking around in the courtyard in Tampa, and I got a chance to meet them. And then this guy right here came up to me in Houston, and he said, a couple other people came up to me that I forgot or didn't have the foresight in mind to get pictures of. And I really regret that. But this guy came up to me in Houston and said his name is Steve, and he goes by the name of Tony in the chat, and he's been in the chat and watched the channel, and I believe he's here tonight. And there he is in the chat. So Steve, shout out to you. It's good to see you. And I told you when we took the picture, I'd eventually get it on the show. I finally got to upload it all. And that is the bulk of my pictures from this trip. I tweeted some pictures of the stage and stuff from inside. I was looking it over. I was like, none of this is exciting enough to show my viewers. So we got 16 minutes left, and I haven't really talked about the main thing that I want to talk about on today's show, and that is today's show. I'm really thrilled to show this off. I met a guy. I don't know exactly how it came about, but I know he's on the Stone Pony London I think that's where we made the first connection. Might have been somewhere else, but yeah, looks like you really need to see 4 of my chins. So I met this guy. He goes on Stone Pony London by the name of George Washington. I sent him an email, asked if he wanted to use his real name, if he wanted to use his handle, and he never replied to that. So we're going to call him George Washington. And I believe he told me he's a teacher. And he's going to every show. He didn't go to Hollywood, the priciest show of the tour, but and I believe he didn't go to Colorado the other night. Yes, 2 days ago. But he's been going to just about every show, and rental cars and trains and buses and planes, and he's been bringing a camera, and I ran into him. I had gotten an email from somebody when I was going to Dallas that said George Washington from the Stone Pony site is looking for you. He's planning on shooting some video, wants to coordinate with you, maybe make a video. I was like, all right, I'll hook him up with me. And we never really connected. And after the show, me and my buddy Jacob went to Denny's that was right across the street from my hotel. And I'm eating at the counter. And the guy 2 seats over from me, he said, you guys went to the show? We're like, yeah, we went to the show, and I'm going to Tulsa and blah, blah, blah. I said something that made him go, know that he knew who I was. I said, you should check out my YouTube channel, something like that. He was like, Phisherman? I was like, yeah. He's like, I was like, you're the George Washington with the footage? He's like, yeah. I was like, awesome. So we met at Denny's. And then, and so then we exchanged numbers, so I could text with him. And then in Houston, my buddy was with his wife in Houston. And so I had nowhere to go after the show to eat. And he texted me, he said, I'll pick you up. We'll go to a Denny's around here. He likes Denny's. So I think he said he likes the waitresses. He's got a thing for Denny's waitresses. Anyway, so I met up with George Washington again. We went to a Denny's. It was kind of hard to get around Houston. It really was. We got really lost and confused, even with GPS in this day and age. Couldn't cross the freeway. We went to Denny's and we're talking. And, he says he's, shooting a lot of video. He'll send me what he's got. And I will, but he's sitting behind the stage for a lot of shows because he's on a budget. He's going to every show. He's trying to get in cheap. The cheapest tickets are rear stage. He's looking for tickets day of the show. He's been sitting in different areas, but he's been stuck behind the stage a lot. His Dallas footage is all behind the stage. And I said, if I had a camera and a selfie stick, I don't shoot video, and I won't. I'm not gonna. And my face is all over YouTube. And so I don't want to be at a Bruce Springsteen show and have Bruce Springsteen people go, there's a YouTube guy, make sure he's not filming anything. My phone stays in my pocket during the show. But I love people who film. I love them all. Everybody who shares their footage on YouTube, everybody who films one song, whole show, everything. But I said, if I was a film, and I stuck a camera in, and I had a selfie stick or a tripod or a monopod or something that I could hold that camera steady on a lockdown shot, I would zero in on that screen, whichever screen. There's like 3 screens behind the stage. Whichever one you have the best angle on, I'd lock down a shot and record the whole show and get a nice screenshot. And that was after Houston. Then he went to Austin. I don't know if he shot Austin. Then he went to Kansas City. And after Kansas City, he emailed me and said he got 95% of the show on screenshot, rear stage. And he was sending it to me. And he sent it to me. And it was gorgeous. And a little shaky at some points, mostly gorgeous. A few things missing. Used YouTube to fill in the gaps. Found really great video on YouTube that I added. I may update it some more later with some more, because there's a lot of really good YouTube from this show. But it was just so easy to lay down when he had 2 or 3 songs all in as one file that matched up with the sound perfectly. This show was 2 weeks ago tonight. I know Dubbing Guy is supposed to be doing his own, and I'm sure it'll be great. It'll probably have too much switching cameras for my taste, but I'm sure it'll be great and probably technically superior to mine. But we're showing mine 2 weeks after the show, and it came out great. And a shout out to George Washington, who got that great screenshot, rear stage screenshot. Brilliant idea. It came out great. And shout out to everybody who put their footage on YouTube, because you really helped make this come out really, really good. And that's what we're watching tonight. And it's a fantastic show. I mean, it's the 2023 tour. It's the set list. We know the set list. We've watched Tampa. We've watched Hollywood. You've read the set list. You follow the streams. You got your nugs. You know the show. But this is if you haven't been to a show, this is gonna be the best look you've had at it. I'm really proud of this one. I'm really happy you could be here. It's just gonna play tonight, and I gotta take it down. I'm not gonna hide from nugs, and I'm not gonna hide from YouTube, and it's just a live stream only. And Steve, sorry to leave your face. I didn't have a backup plan for what the last picture would be. I should have had a plan. I guess I can go back to Clarence's son there. He's a celebrity. He's got a band, I think. So we did the set list for tomorrow is St. Paul. They'll be playing in St. Paul, and I'll be finishing up Houston, I think. And let's see, tell the Denny story. Oh, there's more to the George Washington story. We have 8 minutes. I'm going to try to make it real quick. I didn't go to Portland, and I had an amazing seat for Portland. It was $500 Ticketmaster. Wasn't standard pricing. It was, they call it dynamic, but it said something else in there. It was premium seating pricing. 500 flat plus fees, $88 fees, $588. And I'm not going to go into, you could look back at my videos to see my rationale on how I pulled the trigger on $588. The seat was second row, lower bowl, right off the side of the stage where Bruce comes, right there. It was going to be my best seat of the tour. And it was the first one I bought. I thought it was going to be the only show that I was going to go to. And every other show that I went to came from how expensive that show was. I was like, I can go to Houston for $100 with airfare, ticket and airfare. And I paid $588 for Portland. I'm going to Houston. And by the time I got to Portland, I was whipped. I couldn't do it. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I did end up selling that ticket for $250, $280 something. My cut was from StubHub was $248 after they took their part. It sold for $280 something. I got half back. Forget my $88 fees. They're gone. I got my service. I got my convenience of buying that ticket many months ago, and that $88 is spent and lost. The $500 for the ticket, I got half back, and I'm actually really happy with that. But I didn't get that until hours before the show started, and I told George Washington he could have it. At first, I said, for whatever you're gonna pay. For whatever your $30 for it. And then I was just like, what am I do with $30? I'm going to give it to him. And I said, here's the deal, man. Get the best footage you can get from this seat. It was side stage. So it's close. It's not going to get the greatest footage except for only when Bruce comes over there. It's still going to be side stage. But I was like, get the best footage you can get and promise that it's mine. You'll only give it to me. And maybe, I don't know. I don't sell videos, but maybe I can make something out of this, get my $500 back somehow. If you get good footage, and just promise me it's my footage. And he said, yeah, it's my footage. And he was flying to Portland, and he was on the plane, and I couldn't reach him, and it was for sale on StubHub. And I reached out to him after he landed, and I was like, hey man, let me make sure I got the right email address to transfer this ticket to. I don't want any mistakes or any problems. I'm going to transfer it to you. And he said, he gave me his email address, and he said he was stuck at the airport and he still had to get his luggage, and he wasn't anywhere where he could get his phone out, that he could accept the ticket. I was like, don't worry, get to where you're going. I got you. I said that to him. I got you. Nobody is going to buy this ticket. I got you. And right after I said that, literally right after I said that, I went to StubHub to end the listing so that there would not be, a last minute person that just plucks it away from him. And I went to StubHub and the listing was gone. I was like, what the fuck happened to my listing? And then I went to my email and there was nothing from StubHub in my email. And I went back to look at my sold listings, and sure enough, there it wasn't sold. And just then I got the email. I mean, it literally sold in the moments that I was going to end the auction, to end the listing and give it to him. And it's like I gave him the ticket and then pulled it right out of his hand. And I feel awful to this day. To right now, I mean, I feel really, really bad about it. But I also am that getting half that money back was that hurt. Losing half of it hurt, but such a relief to not lose it all. And we've only got 4 minutes. I think that was the whole story that I wanted to tell. To my friend George Washington, thanks for the video for tonight. It is fantastic. I am so sorry about plucking that ticket out of your pocket. He was really good about it. He understood. He said, it is what it is. I was like, I can't believe that just happened. I mean, I kind of thank God it happened. It was good for me, bad for him. But I do feel tremendous guilt. I feel guilt over it. I shouldn't feel guilt. I didn't really do anything wrong. But I swear, I told him, I got you. The ticket's yours. I went to go make sure it was his, and boom, it sold before I could stop it. Anyway, we have 3 minutes. Enjoy the show tonight, man. I can't believe that I got this done in 2 weeks. I'm really happy with it. I've made a couple of repairs that I didn't have time. You're going to see the copy I viewed and realized I needed to do the repairs, but it's okay. It's damn good. It's a great show. And you know what I'm going to say? I'll see you in the chat.